Brahmatal has a very interesting backstory. It's a trek that almost didn't happen. So I have to give you a backdrop of how trekking was in the years 2000s. At that time, we had launched Rupkund, and Rupkund slowly gained so much of popularity that it soon turned out to be India's most popular trek. Even though it was a high altitude trek, went to 15,000 plus feet, it became India's most popular trek. Just to give you an idea how popular was, that we couldn't manage the number of trekkers that we were taking, and we took up a very large space in Lohajang, which became a base camp, which was the Ranaji's lodge. That became a base camp. It had almost 40-50 capacity rooms. And Ranaji, we ran out of the capacity, where he again built further 40-50 and had almost 80 plus capacity. And he was constructing even more. People next to him took up plots of land and constructed lodges. So you can make out that whole village was buzzing with Rupkund trek. When, of course, later on, now you can't do the Rupkund trek because of the High Court order that camping is not allowed in the meadows. But at that time, it was India's most popular trek. At that time, Ranaji would very often come and talk to us and say, "Why don't you open this trek that we have in our backyard? It's called the Brahmatal. And if you open it, and then in winter also you can run it, and it will help us to keep ourselves going even in winter, because Rupkund is only done in summer and autumn. And my people and all my inventory, whatever we call, is just a waste until the next summer which comes. So why don't you all launch it?" I said, "Ranaji, nobody is interested in a backyard trek like Brahmatal, because you know what, they will all compare it with Rupkund. Where is Rupkund and where is Brahmatal? So I don't think we will launch it." But he kept saying that, why don't you do it? At that time, trekking in our country was all associated with this high altitude, big treks. And so a backyard trek like Brahmatal never featured in anybody's mind to even think of doing it. And we had personally walked to Brahmatal way back in 2009. We had been to Bekalta, Little High, and we knew the terrain, and we knew that it was a nice, pleasant terrain, but not something you would actually launch it as a trek and get people to kind of do it. But Ranaji would urge us every now and then. He said, "Why don't you do it? Why don't you think of it as a winter trek?" And the more he urged us, the thought kind of started playing in our minds, because in our minds, we were also thinking that, there is this winter trek in our country, Kedarkanta. It has become very popular. Our country actually needs a lot of winter trek. Can we launch Brahmatal as a winter trek? And could it be? But then back of our mind, Brahmatal, backyard trek, we know it is just there. Who will take to Brahmatal? Kedarkanta is still a summit climb. There was a lot going for it, but Brahmatal, how would people take to it? I know we had very good forests and good open ridge and things like that, but would people take to it? That was in our mind. But Ranaji was again, urging us. So in 2014, in the winter of 2014, we sent out a documentation team who went to document the trail. So they went, they did the trek and they documented it. They came back with happy reports saying, it's a very nice trek to do, kind of a thing. And we said, okay, maybe next year we must try launching it. So in winter of 2015 is when we launched Brahmatal as a trek. Ranaji was very happy. We were skeptical that, whether people would take to Brahmatal. And very surprisingly, more than 200 people signed up for the Brahmatal trek. And then we realized two things, that, that interest in winter trekking had grown. And even a trek like Brahmatal, where we as little bit of purist trekkers kind of looked down on, trekkers actually looked up on it and they liked it. They loved that experience. And they came back and told the world about it. Brahmatal is such a great trek. And Brahmatal took off. From 2015 onward, 2016, 2017, it just took off and it kept increasing. And we learned a very bitter lesson. Never ever to look down on a trek from our perspective. But if we saw it from a trekker's perspective, most treks are actually great. So that was one very hard lesson I learned for myself. But Brahmatal took off. It became a great winter trek. So much so that just before COVID happened, Brahmatal was going neck to neck with Kedarkanta as a winter trek. And I couldn't believe it, that a backyard trek could actually become like that, and it became such a popular trail. Today, Brahmatal is the second most popular winter trek of our country. 101 trekking organizations are doing Brahmatal trek. But if you ask me how did Brahmatal start, I'll always take you back to 2014-15, when nobody knew about this trek. And very frankly, if it wasn't for Ranaji's urging for us to open it, we wouldn't probably have thought of it the way we did. So I would like to give him a lot of credit. And our interest in opening more winter treks, the lot of crowding in Kedarkanta trek, all put together contributed to the initial success of Brahmatal, which kind of led it to big snowball into today Brahmatal being one of the most popular winter trek of our country. But the origin is in 2014-15.